That's actually a pretty famous license plate, because this car has a story. Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a 1 to 56 scale Matchbox Aston Martin DBR1. Designed by Abe Lugo, it debuted in the 2020 Top Gun Maverick 5-pack. Was this car in the movie? I don't remember that. The casting is a pretty close replica of the real racer, but could stand with a few improvements for accuracy, which I'll do my best to accomplish. I removed the mushroom cap from the rivets with a burr attachment on my rotary tool. We can call this British racing green, but it's a metallic flake, which is not going to do. Clear glass for the cockpit, which is a two-seater with a pizza pan steering wheel, plastic Matchbox wheels. They have to go. One of the biggest improvements that I'm going to make is a set of 3D printed BBS style wheels, which more closely match the real car. But I'll save these for future considerations. Isn't that a beautiful car? First order of business after disassembling the car is to further drill out and then tap these rivets so that they can receive replacement screws, which are needed to put everything back together at the very end. These also keep any paint from clogging up my nicely drilled and tapped holes. Away with the metallic flake green now, which was not sitting well with me at all. It only takes a couple of minutes for the paint to bubble up like this so I can brush it away easily, and then to the sink for a scrubbing up. Looks like I was in production with the bare metal detail for several castings in a row on this day. The DBR1 gets its turn, and any toning, minor blemishes can be removed at this point using a couple of different attachments. All degreased and primed up now, looking pretty and ready to move on. After a Hot Wheels Buick Riviera, I'm ready to launch into my annual summer road trip series of buddy builds with 4 different friends from the diecast community. We've selected a couple of different themes, and I hope you'll enjoy watching these when they hit the calendar on Saturdays in July and August. So my racer is still green. I've just done away with the metallic flake, laying down this Kaleido basic primary green. I'll put a second coat over top of this to darken it up just a little bit, and then I think we're much closer to the look of the real car. Notice especially the BBS spoke style wheels that Matchbox completely missed. I printed up a set of these on my Elegoo Saturn 4 Ultra resin printer. and feeling pretty good about these. The spokes get a chrome treatment. And I black out the rubber. Just a huge improvement. For reasons that remain a mystery, Matchbox also did the chassis in metallic flake green, so I fixed that up with a quick shot of matte black, which I can now detail using the same Molotow chrome and a fine-tip paintbrush, which I prefer over their pen. According to my wiki research, the DBR1 is a sports racing car built by Aston Martin beginning in 1956, intended for the World Sports Car Championship as well as non-championship sports car races at the time. It's most famous as the winner of the 1959 24 Hours of Le Mans, Aston Martin's only outright victory at the Endurance Classic. It's one of only 3 cars in the 1950s to win both the World Sports Car Championship and Le Mans 24 Hours in the same year, the others being the Ferrari 375 Plus in 1954 and the Ferrari 250 TR in 58. In addition, the 6 World Sports Car Championship victories was a record for any car in the 1950s and remained a record in the championship until surpassed by the Ferrari 250 TR. The 3 consecutive triumphs in 1959 at the Nürburgring, Le Mans, and the Tourist Trophy equaled the record set by the Ferrari 250 TR with its 3 consecutive victories at the start of the 1958 season. This one's got a rich racing legacy. Today's community shoutout goes to Custom 1967 on Instagram, a site you can find by following the link that I've left in the description for that purpose. Another change for the sake of accuracy is to swap out this Matchbox steering wheel for a 3D printed one that's much more close to this, the real thing. I've got a 3-spoke wheel that's pretty close. Once I put that in place, I'll give it a wood grain grip. And some very delicate toothpick tip painting on the built-in seat belts to make them stand out more prominently. And now they do. A little bit of black wash always gives a subtle but very important highlight to certain recesses in the casting. It makes a difference. Finally, time for some decal applications. Start with my headlights. Very similar to the original Matchbox look here. I also add these meshed vents right up front that Matchbox missed highlighting. The rondos are left empty. Different numbers can be added here for particular races that it's entered in. There's the rear license plate that true Aston Martin enthusiasts will instantly recognize. I load up my airbrush with some Kaleido high gloss varnish, and that's pretty well it for the Aston Martin DBR1. Now, what makes this car so very special is that in August 2017, the DBR1 chassis number 1 was sold for a world record price for a British-made car of USD $22,555,000. Wow. You can see all the work I did here on the individual pieces. Some required swapped out parts. There's a little bit of detailing. I especially like these custom printed BBS spoked wheels. It's all back together, and it races like the real one. Let's have a closer look. Beautiful shine from the clear coat application. There's a close-up of the new wheels, front grille, headlights, meshed vents, interior detail. A little bit on the back as was necessary, and some highlights on the undercarriage. You know what? It's not a tremendous change from the before pics, but I toned down the paint, added a few details that I thought were needed, most especially the wheels and the racing rondos. Now it's the Sotheby's auction version of the classic Aston Martin DBR1 chassis number 1, the record setter on the track and in the auction house. Leave a respectful comment below with your thoughts on this custom job and any other DBR1 trivia you might like to add. I sure appreciate you visiting my channel today and invite you to come on back soon and often. It's coffee time.